Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
There is no curfew!
Hundreds of protesters peacefully marching down Jefferson Avenue, declaring victory against the city's curfew.
They're peaceful. Their voices are being heard. I support it.
Boy, big difference from 24 hours ago with Detroit Police Chief James Craig allowing protesters to march past tonight's curfew.
That's right. Last night, Detroit police arrested 127 peaceful protesters for violating that 8 p.m. curfew.
We've got a lot to come here tonight at 11. Let's kick things off with Larry Spruill live outside the mayor's residence, where we also saw a protest about the city's curfew. Larry.
Yeah, Devin and Kimberly, that's the message they kept repeating over and over again tonight. They just left about 30 minutes ago, but about 70 or 80 people gathered here at the mansion saying that the curfew violated their rights. Let's take a look at some of the video that we shot from earlier, and as you can see, about 70 to 80 people gathered here around outside the mansion. They marched throughout this neighborhood onto Jefferson Avenue and then back to the mayor's mansion. The entire time they were expressing their dislike for the city's curfew and how both Mayor Duggan and Chief Craig were handling the protests. They were very vocal about what's been going on, and they said they wanted their voices heard loud and clear.
We want to demilitarize the police. Chief Craig has gone too far. And we are here to tell him today that we are not taking it anymore, any more aggressiveness, any more abuse, and also the overzealousness of the DPD against peaceful demonstrators. We represent everybody all around Metro Detroit. All of us are included together, and there will be nothing that will stop us until justice has been served across the United States of America. Detroit will be the epicenter of everything that is Black Lives Matter.
And just before my live shot, Mayor Duggan arrived. He pulled up to the side of the road, and he tells me that Larry, he said that he knows that the last couple of days have been tough for the city, but he also says tonight was a good night. We are live on the Detroit East Side tonight. Larry Spruill, Local 4.
Yeah. All right, Larry. As we mentioned, the protesters were marching down Jefferson, this other group rallying outside the Duggan mansion tonight. And that was Larry just telling us about what happened. So we've had these pockets going on this evening. But now let's move to Mara McDonald and the mayor's message tonight to the citizens of Detroit after what he saw this evening. Mara.
You know, Devin, I heard Larry's report, and the mayor would be the first one to tell you he is fine with protesters. He's fine with protesters standing outside the Duggan mansion. He expected it, and he says he's willing to take the heat for the curfew. Take a listen. Day 6 of protests in Detroit, and there has been none of the burning and looting that cities across the country have seen.
Combination of the pride of Detroiters and the professionalism of the Detroit Police Department has kept us safe so far. We'll see how tonight goes.
Duggan says he's fine with taking the heat for instituting a curfew.
People want to say that I'm taking steps that are too restrictive. That may be a fair criticism. The other thing is 28 states in this country have called in the National Guard. City of Detroit has not.
Of the 6 days of protest, the mayor says the flip gets switched once the sun goes down and different people descend on the city.
There's no question something's going on. I mean, every single night, 65, 70, 75% of the arrests. And to see La Jolla, California, and Bronx, New York last night, these folks aren't here because they have our best interest at heart.
While the mayor was briefing us, a woman approached claiming she was the victim of police brutality. She says, yes, she filed a complaint. It was investigated and found not to be legit. She asked the mayor to look at it. He says he's pulling the file tomorrow.
Come walk with me here. I want to get your number. I'm going to call you.
Back here live, you know, the chief extended the curfew tonight. He said the demonstration was peaceful. So far, we haven't seen any problems. Let's see what happens for the rest of the night. We're live at the Spirit of Detroit downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Well, in fact, let's circle back now to that big protest with Detroit Police Chief James Craig allowing the protesters to march past the curfew.
Jason Colthorpe was with that group marching down Jefferson, and Jason, Chief Craig delivering a big message tonight by what he didn't do.
Boy, a huge message, Kim. It was just incredible what happened. First of all, we should start with Tristan Taylor, the man who organized this protest. He was one of the ones he organized last night's protest. He was one of the 127 who were arrested last night. He showed up here, bloodstains still on his pants, a cut over his eye that hadn't been looked at yet. He said he went from jail to his lawyer's office to the protest that began here at DPD, and then he led the march that went through downtown, midtown, stopped at the Fist at Hart Plaza around 7 o'clock when everyone rallied and you thought it was going to end there, and you wondered, with this huge crowd, many more than last night, if that had something to do with what Chief Craig was about to do. Then they started marching again down Jefferson, Councilwoman Mary Sheffield included, and I'm glad Mara brought up the curfew and what the mayor had to say about it. Councilwoman Sheffield said she is absolutely against it. She said this is what happens when those things happen. People come out in solidarity. They kept marching. We spotted Chief James Craig kind of in one of the vehicles monitoring this, because as time passed, 8 o'clock came around, 8:30, still no orders from police. And it became strange. You wondered what was happening. The script was different from nights past. The chief saw me. I pointed to him, I said, Chief, what's the plan going to be here tonight? He stopped his vehicle, got out, talked to all of us. And I want you to here's what he said. Take a listen.
We're in a good place. They're peaceful, as everybody can see. There's no problems. They want their voices heard, and we support that. There's still issues. And Detroiters have stepped up. Detroiters have supported this city, and people don't want to see violence.
The chief basically saying if this stays peaceful, we're going to let them march. And Taylor gave the news to all of the people protesting a few blocks later, said we're going to make a left turn, we're going to take a victory march back downtown, because the chief said there is no curfew tonight. And of course, that all depends on whether there'll be a curfew tomorrow. I talked to Taylor, and you can bet if there is one, it will certainly look the same out here tonight. And while we're talking about that, the Detroit Coalition Against Police Brutality also speaking out today, vehemently opposing the curfew as well. So we'll have to wait and see where things go from here. Reporting at DPD headquarters, Jason Coulthard, Local 4.
Really interesting, Jason, because the word that the chief used was that discretionary was the way that he described the curfew. And I'm not sure if the protesters thought it was necessarily a one-night thing, or if they really seemed to believe that it was over.
Discretionary, one-night thing.
For Devin, you're asking about whether this will happen again tomorrow?
Well, you can't even hear me, can he?
We're not sure about that yet. Basically, the chief didn't elaborate too much on his plan about the curfew. He just said tonight this is a celebration. We're talking about, he said that many times, we just want to focus on the here and now. He didn't want to even talk about last night and what happened there. He said this is peaceful. We're going to let them march. And when they got back here to DPD, it wasn't long ago, they arrived here and there were several police in their protective gear waiting by DPD just in case everybody went home safely. And hopefully if they come back around tomorrow, the same thing will happen. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
back to you.
Really quite a scene tonight. All right, Jason.
All 4 Minneapolis police officers involved in the death of George Floyd are now in police custody.
The officer whose knee was on Floyd's neck, Derek Chauvin, had charges upgraded to now include second-degree murder. And now the 3 other officers at the scene of Floyd's death have been charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. George Floyd's life is going to be remembered tomorrow in Minneapolis with a memorial service. He'll be laid to rest, though, next Tuesday in Houston, which is where Floyd grew up. Today, former President Obama delivered his first on-camera remarks about George Floyd's death.
The former president urged mayors to review their use of force policies and report results openly to the community.
In some ways, as tragic as these past few weeks have been, as difficult and scary and uncertain as they've been, they've also been an incredible opportunity for people to be awakened to some of these underlying trends. And they offer an opportunity for us to all work together to tackle them, to take them on, to change America and make it live up to its highest ideals. Today, I am urging every mayor in this country to review your use of force policies with members of your community and commit to report on planned reforms.
You can watch his full remarks on our website. Click on Detroit.com.
Another day of encouraging signs in the fight against COVID-19 in Michigan. While the state has lost another 17 people to the virus, it is one of the lowest daily numbers we've seen, Kim.
Yeah, 307 new cases were reported today across Michigan. A big development today involves hospital visitation rules. Governor Whitmer has rescinded the executive order that prevented people from visiting patients in hospitals, outpatient clinics, and doctors' offices. However, there are new rules in place. You must be evaluated before entering. You must wear a mask, and visiting hours will be limited. And reopening tomorrow, pet grooming businesses and customers will no longer need appointments at retailers.
A dry night across Metro Detroit. Let's check in with Ben, who is tracking our next storm threat. Ben.
Yeah, not only dry from the rain, guys, but also from the humidity. That's going to continue to drop tomorrow, but it gets steamy and stormy again on Friday. We'll look at another potential chance of strong storms next.
But first, who knew what and when? Congress now asking questions about the dam failures in mid-Michigan. We'll be right back.